Sorry, that was a thought that I never said on stage before, and I'll never say it again. I'm sorry.
Somebody left a comment on my video the other day asking if comedians ever bomb on their videos. And I mean, honestly, we don't want to show you the bombs. I mean, why would we go through that since it's so hard to already edit videos and share them as it is? But yes, of course we bomb, especially when we try new material on stage. And there's many factors to why a joke might not work, and we constantly rack our brains wondering why. Well, let me show you a joke that I did that I feel I didn't get the response I wanted out of it, so I just never did the joke again after this night.
Those are intense movies, huh? Lion King, they killed the dad right away. Get rid of you. Boom. Yeah. Our sitcoms were intense too. There was no every father didn't have a wife. Isn't that weird, right? It's so crazy. That's how fucked up America is, though. Here's the thing: if you really think about it, that's because every American slowly, like subconsciously feels bad for a single parent dad. For a single parent mom, they're like, fuck you. You did it to yourself, bitch. Like, what? Oh, I feel bad for Danny Tanner, not you. Like, it's... Hey, I didn't write these movies. I didn't in these shows. I didn't... Sorry, that was a thought that I never said on stage before, and I'll never say it again. I'm sorry.
So I was trying to highlight how America views single mothers, how you rarely see TV shows and movies from their point of view, at least back in the day in the 80s and the 90s. There was a lot of single dads. I brought up Full House. Blossom had a single dad, and it always showed them struggling, or they were a two-parent household, but rarely did you see just a single mother struggling. And I obviously in the video I said, wow, it's kind of messed up that we tell single mothers that, well, you're stuck with your own problem. You did it to yourself. And I can see where that message kind of got misconstrued. It was the first time I ever said those thoughts on stage, so maybe I didn't have the wording down properly. I got mixed up with the slowly and subconsciously. Another reason may be the joke that I was telling before, which was about Disney movies, so I kind of put the audience into a mind state of nostalgia, and not knowing that I was going to rip apart nostalgia. It might be because I was a man on stage, a young man, looking younger than I actually was, talking about a single mother's point of view. It's like, well, what do you know? What do you care? And what are you going to say? You're probably going to say something bad as a man, because that's typically what point of view comes across from men. We don't usually look at those hardships and express them, unless I was like, well, my mom was a single mother and I talked about it. But even then, people don't want to hear about it. Just like I said, that's why you didn't see it a lot in shows and movies and things like that. You may have heard about it in sad songs, but even then it wasn't as fun and highlighted as a single dad. Oh, My Two Dads being another sitcom. Or it may be the fact that I wasn't a famous headliner and nobody knew me for my thoughts, so they didn't know how to take it. Is he bashing them? Is he not? They didn't know if I was on their side. Thankfully, I made them laugh, and that's why they were okay with it. They allowed me to say it, and they kind of knew that I was doing experimental stuff. It was also a show where I was booked as an unknown headliner, a secret surprise, so none of that audience were Guerra fans, because I couldn't even promote it to my own fans. So it was just a sea of people seeing someone for the first time, a young man who was all of a sudden talking about the troubles of single mothers, and that may have just thrown them off. There could be multiple reasons. Maybe they were just like, okay, I'm tired of him talking about this serious stuff. I came here to laugh, even though I was trying to make a point and also help them laugh, but I get it. Maybe the other word that threw them off was when I said bitch, where they thought I was calling them bitch, but I was kind of in the character of the American audience that didn't want to see single moms on their TV. I don't know. I'll never know, because I just dropped the joke. I was just like, you know what? It's a little too hard to explain. I'm not in the right place. I'm not in the right time in my career to be able to push this thought into people's minds, and that's not what they came here for. So I just got to respect the audience and the performance and the idea of stand-up comedy, and I took the joke out. And I always have it on the back burner, like maybe one day I'll speak about it. I might have to just reframe it in a way where I talk about, I don't know, honestly, I don't know how to reframe it. But the point was, we need to actually look at single mothers as them having problems, and they're doing their best to deal with it, and we don't need to villainize them for being single mothers, you know, which you see a lot. You also see the other comedy side that people use about single mothers, where you'll see, you know, stickers like "I support single moms," and it's obviously a stripper, you know. So I think that degrading humor towards the subject already may have been a tint that ruined where I was coming from, but I'm not sure. And this happens a lot with jokes. You just let it go. You're like, okay, well, that was that. And if I ever get to a place in my life where I want to speak about it, and maybe I could find a funny way to speak about it, or if I feel I have the time, or if the club trusts me more, you know, because sometimes the club is watching you and like, what is he talking about? And if they don't know your act or know what you're about, they themselves might be turned off by the subject matter, not knowing that you're like, no, I'm trying to spin it into a positive light, and then you just let it go because it could literally cost you future jobs when you say things like that and you're like, no, you misheard what I said. I didn't mean it that way. I just have a problem with how single mothers are viewed in America, and I kind of wanted to bring it up and point it out to people that it's bad. And well, there's that joke, and I mean, it bombed. Luckily, I got a laugh after it, just by the reaction. I did the whole Johnny Carson thing where it's like, okay, just get out of this hole that you just dug and make it funny. And often comics, especially pros, do that. We're just like, okay, well, that didn't go as I thought, and we'll have a little side joke about it, and then we move on. And luckily, the audience moved on. The show went fine. And that was the end of that topic. So to answer that one comment, yeah, we bomb. We just don't want to show it to you. All right, bye.